Hello, Internet. I've been teaching a JavaScript course recently, and we started off using vanilla JavaScript, learning all about variables, functions, doing some basic stuff in the browser, and we've been working on little e-commerce demo store, and it's gotten to the point we need to bring in a front-end framework. Our UI has become so complicated that things are starting to respond to this and to that. When you add a product to the cart, numbers are updating, the cart's content is updating. It would be better to use a framework to keep track of all of this. So instead of kind of nested JavaScript event calls everywhere, we can simply have data uh, structure, and we have a UI that's kind of a view of that data. So you have an array of products, then you have a component that contains the product list, for example, and rearranging the products in the array will just automatically update the view, stuff like that. It's going to be really exciting. We're going to start off very small, get a very basic overview today of how to set up React, how to all components, and kind of full. And then we're going to grow as we example in videos to yeah, get a handle on this front end framework and have some fun. So yeah, thanks for joining me today. All right, let's take a look at the store the students already built in vanilla JavaScript. Here it is. You can add and remove products to your cart. You see that number changing here. You can go in and buy some of them. If you refresh, you see that made the call to the server and bought some. Now they're out of stock. And yeah, it's getting the list of products from a Python app running. So yeah, this is a basic thing. Now we want to take this app and put it into the React world. Our lives a lot easier as we start to track all different types of information about different sorting of the products and more complicated UI. We're going to need a framework like React to help us accomplish that. If we take a look at the code, take a look at the HTML structure, we're doing pretty good. There's some class names that maybe aren't the best, but more or less there's some deep levels of nesting we can probably get rid of. And we'll take a look at that as we try to improve it later. But first, let's just try moving some of these components into React, and let's with this products list. So next we're going to look how to set up React on our local. So one of the prerequisites for React is having Node installed. So if I do node minus version, you see I have version 12. Node comes with the Node package manager, which is how we're going to install React. So as long as you have both of those, you're good to go. If you don't have Node on your machine, it's pretty easy to install it with Brew if you're on Mac, something like that. On Windows, you're going to need to Google around and kind of figure that out. Okay, so time for React. I'm going to quickly go over the file structure we have currently. We have an old store folder. It has CSS, JavaScript, and then index.html. That's what this is over here, the online store. This is the old store here. We're going to be creating a new version of this in React and then adding some functionality on top of that. So if you just go to reactjs.org, you can see they recommend how to get started, the very basics. We are going to use the Create React app because we're creating a full kind of application from start with React. If you're trying to add it to an existing web page, that would be a bit different. But yeah, we're going to start with Create React app because it's great. So I'm just going to copy this command here, npx create React app, and then the name of your app. Go to the code editor, open up the terminal. You see I'm here. I have this old store. Anyway, yes, so I'm going to create, basically paste that command here, and like npm install, then running your function. It's sort of temporarily installs the package. And since create React app is just an application, a JavaScript library for creating a React project, not for it. React will be installed inside that. We just need to use npx to do it one time. I'll call this the new store. And I'm going to probably speed this part up. Okay, it has finished installing, and the very last part of the output here is several npm start, npm run build, npm run test, npm run eject. These are known as npm scripts. So now we have our old store and we have our new store. It created a new folder, and inside it there's a bunch of good stuff. Package JSON. Every JavaScript application in the root directory has a package JSON that describes what packages it requires, its dependencies, as well as like its version number and other stuff like that. Here we can see our dependencies, but what's important to take a look at mostly is the scripts. If we're just getting started, it's nice to know about this scripts component, scripts object inside here. This tells us if we forget those commands from here, it's all written down right here. Build, test, and eject. And so start is the main one we need. So going to go into the new store folder, npm run start, and we're going to run that command. And boom, we have our React app running. Now we just need to make it a store. All right, now I'd like to go over the basic structure that the Create React app has made for us and how React attaches to the page. So we're just going to continue here with this basic example. Take a look at the HTML. So we have a little p tag here. We have an image with some CSS animations attached to it. So where does all this come from? Let's take a look. So we have the new store folder. Inside that folder, there's a public folder, node modules. That's where all the JavaScript packages are going to be installed. There's the public folder and the SRC folder. So public folder contains more static files like the index.html that you're seeing here. And SRC is the what JavaScript build from, basically. So like your app will build from this into a single JavaScript file. So if we take a look, there's some script tags here. Yeah, there's a few of them, a bundle, chunk, main chunk. This is our React app, is several JavaScript files. It comes built from all of these files put together, and they get attached via this guy. So yes, here we have very little HTML inside the body. You see there's pretty much none. You just see one, div ID root. All right, let's go look at that. Where's that? Okay, that's right here. Oh, it looks like that's basically everything. So everything in this page is rendered by React. Only this empty root. So all this HTML in here is generated through JavaScript via React. So let's take a look at where that comes from. So now we know about this div ID root. Let's see. If we go to Next.js, this is the top file of the SRC folder. We see here get element by ID root. Now we know that already means it's going to get that element from the browser. Now we know about this React DOM render. So what is rendering? It's like to paint essentially. So React DOM will take care of rendering our React app inside of this root element, this root div. So this could be anything, you know what I mean? Get by ID app root. Let's save that, see what happens. Oh, fails because this is called root, not app root. We'll go over there, app root instead, and you get the idea. It's just attaching to this guy. Okay, what happens after that? So let's go back and take a look. Well, that's basically it. There's some CSS getting imported in here as well, so that'll end up in the final bundle, the service worker. But the main thing is this app and the CSS. So let's go take a look at the app. Whoa, this looks like HTML, right? We're used to this. This is called JavaScript. I'm going to explain a bit more about that in a minute. But we see it's a function. So like React app itself is a function. And this, what looks like an HTML element is actually a component. So this is a function. It's a React component of our whole app. And inside that, there'll be more React components. Right now, there's just a bunch of more static HTML, but you see, yeah, if we edit this stuff, to do, make a store here, get rid of that, let's save that. You see, we're also benefiting from the live reloading that Create React app helped us set up. And yeah, what we render in here in this function, what it returns, that's what gets rendered as our app. Okay, I'm going to move right away into how to create components. So we have a function here that is our entire app, and we have inside of it, what is this? It's like HTML, but it has a better interlope with JavaScript, so it's kind of like JavaScript plus HTML. We can do things like create a variable out here. Let's call it, I don't know, day. So it's Wednesday. And you can make another p tag here and say today is open bracket. It's kind of like string literals. If you remember from JavaScript class, we can do string literals with a $sign curly braces like this, but we don't need to. In JSX, it's just curly braces. Today is Wednesday. So you see, we're able to take JavaScript variables and directly put them inside of JSX here. Quite nice. Yes. Another thing we could do would be like put a class on this p tag. Well, class in JavaScript, as you know, is a language keyword. So React uses class name instead. So let's call this one like the day class. Okay, we don't have day class yet. Let's go into our little CSS that's being imported here somewhere here. All right, little class called blue that makes things blue. Simple as that. So you see already the text is blue. So we have an attribute here. You can also assign JavaScript variables directly to attributes. So we have a string here, and it's the class name from our JavaScript string is into the JSX directly, just like we did here. Same thing for assigning attributes. So if we go take a look at this element, you'll see it's a paragraph tag with class blue, and it says today's Wednesday. Okay. Now, we so far just worked with this single app function, right? But it's also possible to create more components. Let's create another one right here in the same file called title or something. Function. Let's call it greeting. Let's make it simple. And let's just say my name is Travis, which it is. Let's make a function here called greeting. This is a component. And let's return paragraph tag says hello name, hello, like that. Okay. And how do we call it here in our JSX? We just simply write it like a component like this. She says, hello, Travis. Okay, but let's say we want to have multiple greetings with different people's names. So we have the 3 instance here of the greeting component. Let's instead pass the name in. So hello, Jim. Hello, Bob. Hello, Fred. Okay. See, these right now the component is hard-coded to use the name from Travis. Let's delete that and instead take an argument. So React components take an argument called props, like properties. And if we console log that, let's just return, let's return nothing here for a second. Hello name, but let's take a look at the console. The props is an object with key name. So it turns this name equals Jim into an object. So we could do, for example, here, props.name. Hello Jim, hello Bob, hello Fred. Another nice thing we could do, since we know it's an object, now this is a little bit more complex topic. You might already know about destructuring, so let's do a destructure here. And we can just right away get name from the props object destructure and use it right away. Cool. So yeah, we can do lots of stuff with this. Hello name, your name is X characters long. So let's say name length. Actually, we can probably do it right in here. Hello Jim, your name is 3 characters long. Bob is 3 and Fred is 4. So you start to see the power of React. It's very easy to create components and have their dynamic data being fed to them, and yeah, it's going to be really powerful as we get going. Okay, so yeah, we covered basic React components, and yeah, doing good. All right, let's get started with moving our vanilla JavaScript store over to our React app. We can start with the CSS files. So we know that there was 3 of them. Taking a look in the head, we also see Google font. So let's, or 4, I think. Header, product, main, yeah. Okay. Let's first move Google font. Copy that. I'm going to move that directly to the React index.html file. Oops, I deleted it out of this, I think. Okay. Then there's these 4. So instead of importing HTML, I'm going to do them in JavaScript. So nice. We have all of our imports. Oh, it can't find them. That's because we need to copy the files over. I'm inside my React app here. gonna make a CSS directory. Gonna copy over my CSS files. All right, nice. I'm already getting the update fonts and everything I need. Going to our React app here. Take a look, and I get rid of this greeting component. Don't need that guy. Gonna change this to reflect the other store, which has like a header, a main, that. Yeah, we have a header here. Gonna put that header tag in, our products. Let's take a look at what we get here. Oh, looking good. Nice. Let's work on getting this products component in. Going to, we had to build this products component. Make a list. Let's see what we got here. First, we got an unordered list called the products list. Okay. Just put that here. Nice, nice. Now, let's get into one of these products. Well, first we're going to need the information, right? The data. So let's find where that is. If I go to my old store, I have create old store, and yeah, here I have an array of products. So I'm going to start off with just creating that as a static array here in our new store. So one thing we can do to help our organization is create for components. And oops, that's a new file. Tricky. All right, now let's create a whole folder just for the store list component, because it's going to be kind of more complicated. So new folder, store list, or product list, excuse me. How about the product list? And index.js there. Now, instead of simply creating our list here, let's do that in a new file. So before we made a component in the file, now we're going to be doing one in a separate file. Product list. With this, okay. Just for now, I'm going to put a single placeholder list element in there. Export default product list. All right. Now inside this guy, I'm going to import it. So if you know about imports, if you're importing the name of a folder, it'll automatically take the index JS as that component. So now we have our product list already here. Perfect. And we have a little list element. Let's, in our product list for now, let's create a mock products. And let's copy that over from here. So our mock products. Okay, super simple component. Now, in our products list, let's get access to that mock products. So I'm going to import it. Now we have a bunch of products in an array. How can we render multiple of them, kind of one for each? So right now we just have this product li. In React, we can go into JavaScript like this, so we can simply just do mock products, map, product, we're going to do an arrow function, and then we can just simply return JSX. So li product title. That should work well. Okay, opens two guys and closes two guys. Okay. Nice. Okay, now you're already starting to see here. Really nice. We build one little component kind of inside of, and it's applied to each of the products in the product mock. So now let's create a full product component. So instead of doing it in here, it's going to grow because we see here that it's quite a complex component. So for now, we can do it in the same file. You basically can keep same file until it grows to the point it needs to be in separate files. This is called a product, and return X. So right now we can just, as an example, change this to, let's just call it an item. Item equals product. And nothing's changed because we still have but now we have a custom component for our product. We can go over here and get the HTML from one of these guys. Let's just grab this one. Here's the whole li. Let's copy him, bring him over here, paste it. All right, got a lot of stuff. We don't need this div ID stuff. Images must be closed a little bit differently. Let's see what we got. Okay, it doesn't like our style prop. Let's see. Buttons. Can also just be closed like that. Okay, find the bug. Product card. Okay. Open to, close to, open to. So when we copied over, there's a bit of an error somewhere. I'm gonna finding that now. Okay, so we need to look for, here we go. This color, green, needs to be object because we're in a bit different. Nice, okay, so now we're rendering one of these for each product, but the information is all static in the component. We need to update that. So, for example, the image would be a great one to update. Let's to item data image, I think. Nice. Now all the images are respective of their different guy. For now, we'll just do like the alt text. So we're going to go from fighter to item title. Now all of our titles are fixed. Item. Now all of our prices are updated. Just need our developer. And then I think they're all in 64 games anyway, so we can just leave that for now. All right, now you see the data is, the UI is just a view of our data. So we have an array of product data, then we have a UL element with LIs in our HTML. If we change something in the data, it would automatically re-render over here. So we'll get into more complex re-rendering scenarios in the future. But for now, we just want to kind of recap what's going on here. So let's take it back to the top, take it back to the HTML root here, or our React root. We have an HTML tag called div ID root. We can see that guy gets called here. It renders our React app. Inside our React app, we have our products list component. Inside our products list component, we map over some data, some mock products data, and we render a product component for each of them. In the products component, we have a bunch of HTML that's going on, and dynamically like the src to the image, the text of the title, the price, the text developer, and everything. So we're going to see in the future as we go how really powerful this kind of simple concept of creating components can be. And when things start to get dynamic, it's really going to start making a lot of sense. It'd be really cool. So thank you for joining me for the first video in my React series. I look forward to adding more features to this little store and learning together. So thank you.